call the meeting to order here at 7:01 p.m. We do have two people who are not with us today, so we are going to seat some alternates. I see that at our last meeting, which believe it or not was February 8th, Brian was seated. So if Tim and Olivia would like to be seated, I think that would be appropriate. Is everyone comfortable with that? Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick roll call and then the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's just go down the line, starting with Rich.
Here.
Okay, Rich Gordon.
Oh, here. Here.
Olivia Fairchild.
Kirk Scott.
Michelle Williams.
Tim Leducer.
Tom Fitting.
Great. Let's rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Do we have any additions to the agenda tonight? None from Gary? Any from the group? All right. Moving on, public delegations. This is a time when members of the public are invited to speak to the commission about certain matters. Those matters are with exception of items, referrals, or applications which are subject to a decision by the commission, a public hearing, or in litigation. Those cannot be discussed. During delegations, the members of the commission will not directly answer questions or make a comment. Do we have anyone here tonight who would like to speak during public delegations? Seeing none. Let's head into reports. Carrie, do we have any communications? Okay. Zoning representative, it has been a while, but I looked at the schedule and no pressure. It looks like Tim may have gone earlier this month and Rich last month.
Yeah, I was there on the 5th.
Anything new?
So the commission voted unanimously to approve special permit for Martin Zavala Mexican Bistro to allow outdoor dining in an enclosed patio area and serve alcohol on the seating area. It was approved unanimously because it was already set up for a restaurant, so it was a no-brainer there. They will be serving alcohol. They'll be open weekdays till 9 p.m., weekend till 10 p.m. They could not approve their minutes. They had to move it to the next meeting. Their old business was to approve the application of Mr. Keith Nielsen for William Stone, coastal area management review of 297 Old Black Point Road. The applicant was moving crushed stone, which was mistakenly placed too close to the river. So Mr. Nielsen presented to the commission that they were going to move the stone and make a walkway. The commission also voted unanimously to approve that, and then they moved their new business, which were two applications for special permits, to next month's meeting. There was no zoning official present from planning because to report to the commission, and Ms. Hardy provided comments from the previous Board of Selectmen meeting, and that was pretty much it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Rich, anything from April that's
Yeah,
not
that was
old
when
news yet?
they approved the cannabis establishment by a vote of 4-2, and so it still has to go to the state to be approved. It probably take a few months for it to go through, but they kind of anticipate that it went through. No, that'll go through eventually, but it might take a while. They had also approved a special permit for a juice bar down the road a bit, down the road across the way. So they approved that unanimously, and those are the main things.
Thank you. It looks like May 19th you're up, Kirk, and I'm up for June 2nd. So those will be before our next meeting here.
Thank you.
So we have an ex officio update today. Yeah.
So as far as what we've been working on, I think you all know that we've completed the budget now and it'll be going to referendum on the 19th. We released ARP through the last town meeting, and they're still finalizing the process for sending the money out to the people that were approved. We've been working on Hathaway's in executive session, and Kevin's been doing the negotiation on the side. So there's nothing to report out loud in that. I think all the vacancies and vacancies for boards and commissions, I think we've had them all filled, or at least the ones that we have to date. I noticed you had people missing tonight. We're working on the procedure for hybrid meetings, so if somebody does have COVID symptoms or something like that, there'd be ways to electronically tie individuals in. And then trying to finalize the details for charter revision, so that should be kicking off not too long from now. I'm trying to time it so that the actual final selector, the voting for the changes will come on the same night as election night, so we won't have to hold a separate meeting. So they're working on logistics of that.
Has a charter revision committee been formed as yet?
No.
No. Okay. And then one other question that may be outside of Board of Selectmen purview, but I'm asking you as someone adjacent to the first selectman because he was mentioning it. Was there any progress on the eltownhall.com email addresses for board and commission members? Can we get going on that?
That hasn't been, you guys don't have those?
No.
We do not.
Oh, we got ours quite a while ago.
Okay. I think many or all of us would like one.
So I can report to Sandy that you all have one.
Okay.
There's a fee, I believe, associated with it, and so I can have her reach out to the whole commission.
Great.
Say, I'll let her know whoever wants one, can reach out to her.
Okay.
But it does keep email cleaner if you've
Yeah.
got a separate account.
Thank you so much. Mr. Gaishel, our planning director.
I don't have much to report under the director of the things we're moving forward down to land use. As I think some of you may have heard, our building official has resigned along with the fire marshal moving on. So with that said, we're in the process of looking for a building official and fire marshal. So I think Kevin may have identified a few folks there already applied. Waiting anxiously for that position to get filled. In the meantime, Ed Scarpati has been filling in as the chief building official. With that, I have more to report on affordable housing when we get there. That's all I have to report.
Let's go to subcommittees and start with affordable housing.
So, affordable housing plan, some of you may have followed. Board of Selectmen just recently authorized Kevin to, for Selectmen to sign the contract agreement with Building New York to begin that project. So with that, moving forward, my next steps are to request an extension of time prior to August 2nd. That's 90 days prior to the August 31st deadline. Also, going to get some clarification on, because I know there's some question about this June deadline for adopting the plan and submitting it to OPM versus the deadline that we have based on this grant. So again, I don't know that the legislation is clear as to what happens if the municipality does not or fails to file their affordable housing plan on time or by the 22nd. So I'll get clarification on that for the commission.
Great, thank you. Any questions on that? I know most of you are on the subcommittee, so I'm...
So, yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of speaking at the subcommittee, it's just a matter of scheduling up our next meeting with Government New York. I think we requested, I talked to Terry Donovan, Chair of Zoning, who would like to participate also in those discussions. And I certainly think that that's appropriate. We can add in whoever else from that commission. Bodies that nominate on that. At the end of the day, this commission has to approve that document.
Right, thank you. From the Plan of Conservation and Development Implementation Subcommittee, we did, since the last time we met, we had a workshop discussion meeting with POCD members as well as the chairs of Inland Wetlands and Zoning and our Zoning Enforcement Officer, Bill Mulholland, to discuss what, as land use commissions, we might want to tackle sooner than later out of that plan. So coming out of that meeting, the chairs of the other boards were going to go to their boards and start some discussions on that. And it's been a couple months now, so probably a good opportunity to check in with them before our next meeting and find out if there's been any progress there. Similarly, we should lead by example and do the same thing on planning, so I would invite all of you to peruse through the document at your leisure and see if there are recommendations within the purview of this committee that you would like to tackle. Our strategy has been to kind of have some workshop sessions with multiple groups at once. I think we're looking at potentially harbor management, natural resources, the historical groups for discussions next, because a lot of things in the document do touch those groups. Anything to add?
Well, with that, I know Kristen Chantrell, chair of the Inland Agency, has brought it to their attention. We started that discussion, at least planting the seed to think about it, because we're on the side trying to working with her and one of the members on revising possibly the regulations, kind of more of a different format, but we'll see where that goes. If it goes anywhere, it was work that was done previously by a previous subcommittee of the agency, so we'll take a look at that. And so as we develop those regulations, keeping in mind the plan of development, that's where she's going. So we'll hopefully have progress. But beyond that, I mean, we haven't really started drafting any other language.
Okay, great. Any questions? All right. On the chairman's report, I actually just wanted to take a moment to thank you, Gary, and Jen for organizing a great land use training earlier this month. That was fantastic. I hope that those of you who were able to attend got as much out of it as I did. It's always so great to be able to take a step back and look at the same types of issues when you can view them in a more big picture conceptual way versus an application in front of us. So it was fantastic, and I just wanted to say I really appreciate you going through the effort to do that. I know that there was some considerable organization involved, and I really appreciated it, so thank you.
If I could add, there's a very good document that they provided a link to. It's just like a 2-sheet cheat sheet, basically. I found it was very, very informative. If anyone needs a copy of it, I have the link. So,
Awesome.
I think the UConn dot
EDU.
Yeah, I wrote that down somewhere. Okay, on to approval of the minutes. We are set to approve the regular meeting minutes of February 8th, 2022. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Would anyone like to second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on those minutes? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Hi.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Great. We do not have a public hearing tonight. However, our next agenda item looks like it will lead us to a public hearing coming up soon. Mr. Geishel, would you like to jump in on this one?
We received the application of Kristen T. Clark, PE of Niantic Real Estate LLC, owner. The application for a 2-lot re-subdivision of approximately 5.13 acres of land, zone RU40, located at 9 Upper Kensington Drive, East Lyme, Assessor's Map 40.0, Lot 17 with a waiver request from section 235B.1 of the Town of East Lyme zoning regulations, section 6-8-7 stormwater management requirements, section 5.2.2G erosion and sedimentation control requirements, and section 5-2-2B and C small Roman numeral 2 preliminary resource impact and conservation plan. Date of receipt of this application is this evening, May 10th, 2022. We have 65 days to schedule a public hearing, and it must be held by July 14th, 2022. I believe our next meeting is several weeks away. We've already referred the application out for staff review, and we're waiting for staff comment back.
All right. Do you think we'll be ready to do a public hearing June 14th at our next regular meeting?
It's a full 4 weeks, right? Full 3 weeks, the rest of this week. So I think we should be at least close enough. Otherwise, we're, holding it in July, we're getting to the end of that. So
Yeah.
I think we should schedule it for June. And if we're not ready, we can always continue. Although once we open, we have 35 days to conduct it, as you know. So if they give us more, and if we had to push it to July for whatever reason we could
Okay.
June works.
All right. Great. Everyone comfortable with June 14th? I don't think this is a voting item. I think it's more of an administrative one, but all right. Great. We do not have any zoning or municipal referrals tonight. We do have a bit of old business that's still kind of ongoing in the background. I think we're all aware of that on the subdivision regulation revisions. Gary, did you have anything you wanted to update on that?
Not so much. Almost, I think, 2 years ago, pre-COVID, I had started working on revising Chapter 9 because there was some changes to the state legislation on bonding. Basically, it was the language, the term bond versus financial guarantee. So we undertook, the town attorney and I, revising that section to reflect the proper language to be consistent with the state statute. That section's ready to go if we want to move forward with it. With that, there's other sections I wanted to take a look at in terms of application procedural requirements, maybe what's submitted, what's not. And then, of course, the idea of how have the regs actually been working since they've been implemented. When I started in 2008, the town had undertaken a massive leap forward with the stormwater regulations that are in our regs. They were very progressive at the time. And then we subsequently adopted these low-impact development standards, ideas, kind of fostered by General Art and workshops that were held by him here at Town Hall. And so we've implemented these conservation development design, subdivision regulations, and really have we achieved what we set out to do. So I'd like to kind of look at that and kind of look back the last 10 years or so and say, what kind of subdivisions do we get? I know I remember, but we had a lot, and a lot of them I think were less than 20 lots, which is interesting. I think we've only had 1 or 2 that were that magnitude. Matter of fact, I don't even recall one. But so it would just be interesting to see if they're working like we intended. If not, how can we massage them to improve? So I think we can just keep that discussion open. While the affordable housing plan kind of being my primary focus right now, due to deadlines and commitments there, I think we can kind of backburner some of that a little bit. That said, after May 15th, we should be having our intern starting, Ali Christensen, a graduate student at Tufts, studying environmental urban design and planning. So with that, it's a fitting course study to match with what our needs are here. So looking forward to that.
All right. Fantastic. We also do not have any new business tonight, which brings us to the final item on our agenda, which is adjournment. Anyone have any thoughts or comments on this? Maybe a motion?
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Okay.
Second?
All right. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Any abstain? Fantastic. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all for your time tonight.
Thank you.